Call to order the meeting of Pasadena Independent School District Board of Trustees in regular session on Tuesday, November 30th, 2021, the boardroom of the Administration Building, 1515 Cherrybrook, Pasadena, Texas, at 5:30 p.m. Board members present, Ms. Vicki Bart, what was that? Mr. Kenny Fernandez, Ms. Nella Sullivan, Ms. Crystal Davila, Ms. Paola Gonzalez Fusilier, Mr. Casey Phelan, and myself, Marshall Kendrick. Board members absent? None. Let the record indicate that a quorum of board members is present, that this meeting is duly called, and that notice of this meeting was posted in accordance with the Texas Open Meeting Act, Texas Government Code 551. Invocation will be given by Mr. Phelan and pledges by Mrs. Morgan.
If you'll pray with me, please. Dear Heavenly Gracious Father, we ask that you be with us as we go about the business of our school district. We ask you to be with the students, families, employees, and staff of our district, and help us do the best we can in your name. It's in your name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Would you please join me in the pledge? I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And the Texas flag.
I honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state under God, one and indivisible.
Sorry, Ms. Sullivan.
That's okay.
I'll change this to Mrs. Sullivan.
Well, you had asked me, and
I did. I showed you how short my memory is.
So is it?
Okay. But you got play toys out there? We're going to adjourn to a closed session pursuant to Texas Government Code sections 551.074 for the purpose of considering the appointment, employment, evaluation, reassignment, duties, discipline, or dismissal of a public officer, employee, or to hear complaints or charges against a public officer or employee concerning matters related to the superintendent's recommendation to hire administrative personnel and/or the superintendent's recommendation related to renewals, non-renewals, and termination of contract for professional personnel. 55.071 to consult with district attorneys concerning matters on which the attorney's duty of the district under the Code of Professional Responsibility clearly conflicts with the Texas Open Meeting Act, to seek the advice of the attorney about pending or contemplated litigation or settlement offer, and/or to consider legal advice regarding items specifically listed on the agenda. 551.072 for the purpose of discussing the purchase, exchange, lease, or value of real property. 551.071, 551.074, and 551.0821 for the purpose of considering or seeking the advice of district attorneys regarding a mediation agreement in GC versus Pasadena ISD, Texas Education Docket Number 012-DM-1021, and related actions. We will reconvene at 7 p.m. We're going to reconvene in open session. First thing on the agenda is discussion of state financial calamity rating for 2019-20. Ms. Carla Merker.
Good evening. Hope everyone's doing good tonight. We're going to go over our annual financial report for the first report this year. And I'll start by saying that we have a 96, which is good because last year we had 15 indicators, and this year we have 20 indicators. So it's getting harder and harder to receive a superior rating. So we're very proud of our A that we received for a superior rating at a 96. I can tell you in our current year, only 83% of the districts received superior rating versus last year it was 88%. So you can see the trend on how hard it's getting to achieve that rating. So we're very proud of our rating that we did receive. So we're just going to go over a few of the criteria. One of the things that we always put is the copy of the actual first report, so you can see that we did achieve it from TA in 96. And then it is required that we kind of discuss some of our items. So indicators 1 to 5 are critical indicators, and you have to receive a yes on those responses. Anytime we put a no or they receive a no, it's an automatic failure and we get an F right away. And those are 1 to 5. 5 was not scored this year, and they didn't do that for anybody. So that's just one of the things that they changed. Then indicators 6 through 20, if we made 100, I'll tell you that we got a perfect score on that. that, and the ones that we didn't, I'll identify why we didn't. So indicator 6 is our fund balance, and we did receive a perfect score on our fund balance. The indicator number 7 is our adequate cash flow for investments, and we received a perfect score on that. Indicator number 8 is the ratio between current assets and current liabilities, and we received an 8 on that. To receive the perfect score of a 10, you had to have a 3. We had a 2.87. So we were close, but not quite there. Indicator number 9 is our revenue and general fund exceeded, so we had a surplus in the fund balance last year when we closed it. And the first report is always a year behind, so it's on our 1920 year that we're looking at. And then on indicator number 10, we had a perfect score. That was on the variance on the budget versus actuals. Indicator number 11 is our long-term assets to long-term liabilities. We got a perfect score on that. Indicator number 12, we got an 8 on that. To receive the perfect score, you had to have equal to 4 or less, and we were at 4.4. We've addressed this recently. Dr. Powell sent y'all an update to say on our debt how we did a savings where we called those bonds, and we saved $9.7 million or $9.2 million. So we're bringing those savings in because we're real close to that. We're at a 4.4. So with our savings that we are doing as we're calling these bonds and taking care of our debt the way we should address that. And when we looked at the first report. So that's some of the reasons that we call the bonds. And especially with the interest rates and the savings that we're getting right now, it's good business for us to do that because that's taking care of taxpayer dollars. Indicator number 13 is how much we spend on administrative costs. We'll discuss that a little later as well, but we received a perfect score on that. Indicator number 14 is our enrollment. Yes, we've had a decrease in enrollment, but we also, even though the enrollment is declining, we don't cut staff. We maintain it to make sure that our deficit is not outgrowing the other one. And indicator number 15 is our ADA, was with a range. And every even year, we're required to submit our attendance projections, and that's a hard number, especially with all the stuff that we've gone through the last 2 years. And as long as we meet that range, then we get the full points on that. And that's probably one of our hardest numbers to achieve right now because we don't know what's going to happen. And we do those in even years. Indicator number 16 was our expenditures that we submit in PEMS versus the budget and our actuals. We were actually at 0.03%, $580 out of the $1 million that we budget. So we come in very, very close to what we do. We do a great job on watching what we're spending and how that comes through. Our audit report was free of material weaknesses, so we got a 10 on that. You will receive our new audit in January at the meeting to approve that one. Indicator number 18 was the audit free of material weaknesses. We do not have any material weaknesses. We watch everything that we do on the finance side to make sure that we're in compliance. Indicator number 19, did we post and did we pay for all of our required financial information? And we do. We're very transparent in our department. We make sure that everything is paid on time. We don't have anything that's late. And then indicator number 20 is a new one, and then we kind of talk about this in July, and that's that tax report that I bring and talk about our tax rate, and that's a new one that they're marking us down, do we do it or not, and I have to submit each year that we've done that. So we want to kind of talk about some other things, because one of the things we have to talk about is how are we making sure that we're in compliance. And so it's good just to talk about some other data that we have. So some of the things that we want to talk about is our financial strength. And the board set aside that we have to keep 12.5% in our fund balance. As of right now, we're running at 30% that we've saved in fund balance. So we're way above that 12% that we're required to keep. We maintain our ratings to make sure that we're in compliance for our bonds at the AAAs, so we make sure that that always stays in compliance. Then we look at our operating costs. And our operating cost, 88.5% of our operating costs is in salaries and benefits. Then another 2% is with our electricity, and 1% comes in for insurance property. That only leaves us 8.5% to spend on supplies. So we are very frugal with what we do because we want to retain our staff and to make sure that we attract staff, and that's why we do some of the salaries, and that's why you see such a large number, that 88%. I talked about the administrative cost. The state level is 11.05%. Our administrative cost is 5.8%. So we're way, way below it, and because we're not top-heavy, we make sure that our campuses have their needs that they have, and we watch that top-heavy side. So anytime someone is coded to a function 41, I'm always looking, and I run that number to say, are we going to be out of compliance, to make sure we're below that state average.
Now, is that a state average or a state limit?
State limit. And we always stay way, way below that. And then on our, like I said, we try to retain and attract our staff, so our compensation is high. At least we try our best to keep it as high as we can. That's why we always bring a raise forward. And y'all have done a great job approving raises over the last few years to make sure that we are staying competitive with that. We also like to talk about the tax rate. This year, or in 2020, with everything tough, and I actually projected that our collection rate would only be at 93%. We came in at 97.4%. So that's good compared to what we had budgeted, because we weren't sure. It's just a strange time of year, and we just weren't really positive about that. And then, of course, on our cash management, we make sure that anything that we invest in is, we can have the liquidity, and it's safe, because that's our job, is to make sure that we're doing safe investments. And we're not going to invest in something that's an illegal or in Israel, because those are things that we don't invest in. We make sure that any investment that we have is one that is approved by TEA. So we watch that. Then, of course, on the budget, we start that in December. The departments, we had moved to zero-based budgeting a couple years ago, and that's helped out a lot. And the campuses, we base it on the PEIM snapshot data. So it depends on how many students they have, is how much money they get. And that's a BFU, which is across the board, so we know exactly what everyone's getting based on the number of students. We also give a heavier weight if they're in bilingual, if they're GT, if they're at risk. So we look at all those numbers across the board to make sure that each campus is funded equally, no matter where you are. So we look at that very well to make sure that that's equal across the board. And I always like to recognize my department, because we win a lot of awards. And we're on the backside, we try not to get it, but I'm proud of my department, because this finance team has done a great job with the awards. This past year was the first time that we won one of the awards where it's only 10 districts in the state have even won that financial compliance award. So we're excited about all the awards that we win, and I can't thank my team enough for the work they do. Of course, we always put the superintendent's contract in, and then at the last page is where you see anything that y'all spent, where you went to a workshop. We have to include that, because that's part of what we do, is to say is that board members are not paid. They do this volunteer work, but we always record anything that's happened or anything that they do throughout the year. So that is our financial compliance report for the annual financial accountability and management report. Is there any questions? Would anyone like to ask any questions?
Great report, thank you.
Yes, thank you very
Appreciate you and your
much.
staff.
Absolutely.
Next is special recognition.
All right, board members, we have some special recognition tonight. Not that it wasn't exciting to hear about the first report, Carla, but this is even more exciting. So we're going to introduce Tanya Hager, who is no stranger, our Executive Director of Career and Technical Education, who will present awards to 2 outstanding business partners, as well as the criminal justice instructors from Lewis Career and Technical High School. These awards were voted on by CTE administrators in the Gulf Coast region, who are members of the Career and Technical Association of Texas. Take it away.
All right, yes, thank you. Good evening, Dr. Powell and board. Thank you so much for the opportunity to recognize these business partners and educators who are true champions for career and technical education. Their passion for CTE and their dedication to preparing students for the future workforce sets them apart and is the reason we are here to honor them tonight. The awards they're receiving, as Dr. Powell just said, were actually voted on by all CT administrators in our entire Gulf Coast region. So their efforts are not only being recognized by those of us in Pasadena ISD, but by every district in our area. So again, thank you for allowing us the time to honor them. Our first award goes to Teresa Sauls. Teresa is the Community Relations Program Manager for CenterPoint Energy. Teresa has been diligent in her work to bring career and technical education to the forefront of CenterPoint Energy's vision. She provides support for the schools and programs she works with by sitting on advisory committees, arranging guest speakers, making donations, and most importantly, offering job opportunities to students. Teresa is passionate about the construction industry and even more passionate about career and technical education. She is doing her part to aid in the skilled labor shortage in our region by bridging the gap between school and industry. And as a result, young people are able to begin a career right after they graduate, and in turn, the industry gains a new generation of skilled and dedicated employees. So please join me in congratulating Teresa Sauls for being the recipient of the Business Education Partnership Award. The next exceptional business partner I'd like to recognize is David Esquibel from Shell Oil Company. And while David is now getting used to life as a retiree, he served many years as the workforce development specialist, where he was a huge advocate for high school students across our region. He worked tirelessly to provide support by way of donations, field trips, youth expos, and scholarships for students. His passion for the petrochemical industry and the students that he supported was instrumental in the development and growth of high school CTE programs. And as you all know, the petrochemical industry is essential to our region, and David's efforts and the groundwork he laid will ensure its continued success and will no doubt have a long-lasting impact for students in our district. So please, everyone, join me in congratulating David Esquibel for being the recipient of the Champion for CTE Award.
Thank you.
All right. The next group we would like to recognize is the CTE Showcase of Excellence Award recipients, and these outstanding teachers were voted on, like I said, by all regional CT administrators. They bring relevancy into their classroom and provide their students with real-world opportunities on a daily basis by working with local police departments, scheduling guest speakers, taking their classes on field trips, collaborating with colleagues on cross-curricular activities. The list goes on and on. In addition to this, they have an ongoing partnership with the Pasadena Municipal Courts, where they hold the sentencing phase of court proceedings right there on campus, which gives their students the opportunity to move from theory to practical application. With nearly a perfect passing rate year after year on both the municipal jailer certification and the emergency dispatch certification, Dr. Melissa Ryan and Michael E. Barbo are going above and beyond to prepare their students for a successful career in law and public safety. And it is for these reasons that the Law and Public Safety Pathway at the Lewis Career and Technical High School is the recipient of the CTE Showcase of Excellence Award for 2021. Please join me in congratulating these outstanding teachers. Board members, Dr. Powell, thank you again for allowing us to honor them and for all the support you continue to give career and technical education in our district. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Well, awesome job, and if that wasn't exciting enough, we have more to celebrate tonight. Each year, board members TASM awards the Tommy Eads Leadership Excellence Award to a current is it TASM member, all these acronyms. This year, the state's award was presented to one of our very own, which is a huge honor, and Marcia Jones is going to tell us all about it and present the award.
Thank you so much. In October, Janet Nuzzi was recognized as the recipient of the 2021 Tommy Eads Leadership Excellence Award by the Texas Association of Supervisors of Mathematics, which is TASM. Janet, will you please come on up to the stage? Wait till you hear all that she has done. The Tommy Eads Leadership Excellence Award is given to a mathematics leader who has made outstanding contributions to mathematics education and who has provided extraordinary support for mathematics educators. Additionally, recipients have exhibited an exceeding commitment to continued professional growth for mathematics educators. Janet Nuzzi serves as a district's instructional specialist for K-12 mathematics intervention, where her responsibilities include developing, supporting, facilitating, and implementing a district-wide intervention to meet the needs of students that have yet to develop proficiency in mathematics. Prior to this role, she served 10 years as a district's instructional specialist for K-4 mathematics. Janice has focused her efforts in PISD on building the capacity of our mathematics coaches, many who are in this room right now, and teacher leaders by assisting in the creation and facilitation of the Instructional Coaching Institute, Professional Learning Communities, PLC, Teacher Leader Collaborative, and the district's first Emerging Teacher Leaders in K-4 Mathematics Education Academy. Janet has presented at numerous local, regional, state, and national conferences, including TASA, Texas ASCD, CAMT, NCTM, regional and national, and NCSM. All of those are mathematics related, most of them, and has supported numerous mathematics coaches and teachers' efforts to present conference sessions at regional, state, and national conferences. She has assisted teachers to be recognized as state finalist awardees in mathematics, PAEMST. That's a lot of letters. Janet co-authored and co-edited Mathematizing Your School with Dr. Nikki Newton, a book which she and 8 other PISD educators described a process for mathematizing our district, so she co-authored with them. Janet served as 2-term president of the Executive Board of Texas Association of Supervisors of Mathematics and as a vice president of the Texas Council of Teachers of Mathematics. She was also recently recognized as the 2020 recipient of the Texas Council of Teachers of Mathematics Nancy Trapp Leadership Award for exemplifying leadership in mathematics education at the local and/or state level. Wow. Needless.
That was all from this year, right?
I had to have notes for this one for sure. Got stressed out anyway. Needless to say, we just are so grateful for Janet, the asset that she is to our district. We are blessed to have her leading the way in our district. We applaud you. We are so grateful for the excellence and leadership you exemplify and your commitment to our district. Congratulations on this fine award. And do you have some guests you would like to introduce?
Thank you, Dr. Jones, and thank you, Dr. Powell and board members. I love our district. I'm proud of the work that we do in our district, and I'm humbled to serve the teachers and the students in our district. So thank you so much. Very much appreciated. I do have members of my family here. So I have my husband, Louis Nuzzi. He's here.
Yay.
I have my parents, Betty Dodd, here in the red, and my dad, David Dodd. Then I also have members of my CNI intervention family, Dr. Marcia Jones, and then back here, Erica Chapa, and also Stephanie Teas. So thank you so much, and many other friends as well that are here.
Congratulations, Janet.
Janet is definitely math royalty, so we are so, so proud. Next, we have other celebrations. We're going to recognize one of our great PISD administrators, Amber McNeish, for being named the 2021 K-12 Administrator of the Year from Texas Association of Health and Physical Education, Recreation, and Dance, and they have their own letters, but I'm going to turn it over to Dan Hoppy to give the honors.
Thank you, Dr. Powell and board. We're just so excited to present. I'm going to read just something from Tayford. This is, well, first, let me recognize Amber McNeish for this wonderful award that she's going to receive. Amber has been recognized as the Tayford Administrator of the Year. And this is actually there's a part that's from Tayford that I'd like to read. The K-12 Administrator of the Year Award honors those individuals who have dedicated themselves to excellence as administrators or supervisors in contributions to their profession and in service to the mission of Tayford. These individuals exemplify the highest standards in accomplishment and innovation and in strong and vigorous leadership. And I'd like to add this. Amber has long been recognized in our district for her dedication and passion in the promotion of PE, health and wellness, helping our students and staff reach their full potential by making their personal health a lifelong priority. She is now being recognized on the state level for the leadership she brings to her colleagues across the state, and we're looking forward to celebrating her amazing achievement at the state convention in Arlington. Please join me in congratulating Amber on this well-deserved honor and making us Pasadena ISD proud. And do you have family with you today?
Yes, I do. But before I introduce them, I did also want to thank the administration for Pasadena ISD as well as the school board. We have been supportive every step of the way in promoting the whole child, and so for that I'm grateful for the work that we're able to do. And yes, I tried not to invite my family, but they got news. So my mom is right here. She is a longtime educator, and she actually started in Pasadena ISD, I believe, years ago. She is now retired. My husband is back there videoing. He's with a big grin on his face because he's the one that found out. And my oldest son, Mac, is with us as well.
And now it's my turn.
Okay, great. That's what I had to introduce you. Okay. It's kind of obvious.
So we have another recipient from Tayford. I have one of my dear friends, Coach Straker. She actually works at one of my former campuses, Red Bluff Elementary, and I'll read what the organization has to say about Pam, and then I'll follow up with some of my own words. The organization acknowledges educators for their, let's give her a clap. Pam Straker, thank you. So Tayford acknowledges educators for their accomplishments and professionalism in the disciplines of health, physical education, recreation, and dance. Ms. Straker has earned this distinguished recognition for demonstrating leadership, achieving excellence, and being an outstanding representation of the teaching profession. So Coach Straker has been a positive influence on our students, staff, and families by creating innovative activities for her students, inviting parents to participate in PE classes, and planning community events such as walk and bike to schools. Coach Straker is a huge asset to our PE team district-wide and is frequently observed by new PE teachers, creates interactive resources for PE games, and serves on the district's Excellence and Wellness Committee. We are so proud of her and are looking forward to celebrating her at Tayford. Please join me in congratulating my friend Pam.
You have family here?
Yes, she does. But first, they asked us to take a picture together. And she does have somebody here that she'd like to introduce.
Yeah, I have some people here that I've known that I've met throughout the district. I appreciate you guys being here. Also, my girlfriend is here, Jill. She's back there in the corner. Of course, I couldn't keep her away either. Amber and I both don't like the recognition, but I appreciate everybody. Thank you so much.
We had a lot of rock stars to recognize tonight, and board members, we got lots of awards in the mail just this week as we came back from Thanksgiving, so we'll celebrate those later. So that's it for tonight.
A lot of wonderful things happening. Great people doing a great job. We'll continue with our agenda. We have no public comments at this time. We'll go to the consent agenda.
Mr. President, I move that we approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Motion made by Mrs. Morgan, second by Mrs. Sullivan. Any comments or questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. Personnel section, consideration of possible approval of administrative personnel.
Mr. President, I move that we approve addenda pages A through C.
Second.
Motion made by Mrs. Morgan, second by Mrs. Sullivan. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. please announce.
Yes.
Thank you.
Absolutely. And if you're here, stand up, and then I'm going to ask you to introduce your family as well. Rachel Faith has just been named counselor for Williams Elementary. Do you have family with you?
Here's my husband Justin, my dad Ramdit, and my mom Cheryl. I'm a Pasadena kiddo myself. I went to Pearl Hall, my Miller Intermediate, and graduated from Southeastern High School, so I'm very excited to be back home. Thank you.
Awesome.
Welcome back.
Next, we have Joseph Garza, who's been named assistant principal at Gardens Elementary. Joseph, we've seen you around. You want to introduce your family to us?
Yes, I have my parents here, Joe and Esther Garza. I have my brother and sister-in-law, John Davey, and my two perfect nieces here, Eleanor and Maggie, along with my large Gator family and a lot of my colleagues here.
Awesome. Awesome. Congratulations. And last but not least, George Cervantes. George has just been named principal of Adobe 9th Grade Center. George, I know you've got family with you. Yeah, so please introduce them.
My wife, Raquel, back. My daughter, my grandson, where's Jackie? Riley, my grandson, Graham and Callan, my son, Michael, and my other son, David, and my daughter, Jamie, right here. And last but not least, I drove yesterday about 8 hours, 500 miles to go get her because my mom told us about this. Thank you to the board for your approval, Dr. Powell, my Longhorn family, other work families from my past, and also for my future. I'm looking forward to a lot. Thank you so much.
Mr. President, that's the end of the administrative personnel recommendations.
Before we get to the business schedule of it, would you like to leave with your families? You're certainly welcome to stay if you would like. Get out of the way you can, all right? It's going to be a while.
He worked for Liz at Shaw.
Okay. Yes.
Yes, we did.
We did?
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, everybody got a seat? Here we go. Consideration and possible approval of renewal for the medical stop loss coverage self-funded health plan, CSP number 21P-009LP to Sun Life Assurance Company of Canada via Stealth Partner Group for a cost of $3,221,894 to be paid through the health fund.
So moved. Second.
Any comments or questions?
Board members, I just want to recognize that Maggie Parker's here from Gallagher, so we appreciate her help with this.
Great, thank you. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion passes. Consideration and possible approval renewal of the Employee Assistance Program, EAP, CSP -20P, -OS, is that a 5?
Five.
Yep, sorry, can't read. -050LP for a cost of $90,780.
So moved. Second.
Motion by Morgan, second by Sullivan. Comments or questions?
So I know I'm not going to talk every item, but we had this for the first time last year, and we served over 900 employees.
We served 900 from January to September.
Oh, okay. So, not for a full year, so just to let y'all know.
Great, thank you. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion passes. Consideration and possible approval of renewal of the on-site Pliny CSP 20P-032LP for a cost of $792,623 to be paid through the health fund.
So move.
Second.
Moved by Ms. Morgan, second by Mrs. Sullivan. Any comments or questions?
Dr. Powell, wouldn't you say that this has been a very effective event for our district?
I think our employees greatly appreciate the partnership we have with HCA, and of course, our doctor who is there, Dr. Hurtado, is a primary care physician for a lot of our employees. So, yes, if you talk to our employees, they're very appreciative that this is an opportunity for them, and it's a recruiting tool as well when we recruit.
That's awesome.
Thank you. Have we voted?
No.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion passes. Consideration and possible adoption of amended board resolution regarding local COVID-19 leave option and ESSER 2 funding.
So move.
Second.
Moved by Ms. Morgan, second by Mrs. Sullivan. Any comments or questions? Pardon?
I thought I heard feeling.
Casey? You didn't say anything?
He seconded.
Oh, he seconded, I'm sorry. So Phelan seconded, okay, sorry about that. You can speak a little.
Get closer to the mic.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes. We have certified personnel and support personnel on here for information only. Educational system section. Consideration and possible approval of district improvement plan for 2021-2022 school year.
So move.
Second.
Ms. Morgan, second by Ms. Sullivan. Any comments or discussion?
Well, I just want to say that an awful lot of planning and thought went into both the district and the campus improvement plans, as always. And it's not something that happens overnight. It's something that happens with a lot of input from the campuses, from the administrators. And I am very appreciative of the job that's always done.
I agree with you.
I have a comment too. I thought it was great that it was on the computer. It was so easy to pull up and to read, and like Ms. Morgan said, a lot of work went into it, but it's nice to have it at our fingertips to refer to.
You don't miss the 69 binders?
No, not at all.
Just checking, just in case.
You can skip those.
Okay.
I thought Scott was going to bring him in.
Well, for a while, we came up here and reviewed,
Right.
so
I
it
just
is.
remember stacks
Yeah.
and stacks and stacks. Karen and her team do a great job, and you may say who the others are that helped you do that.
Let's give him a...
All right, there you go. Scott
Way
Harrell.
to go. A lot of work, and we appreciate it very much. Consideration of possible
We
approval.
didn't vote on that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, no. We passed it. We have another one here. Consideration of possible approval of campus improvement plan, 2021-22 school year.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Ms. Morgan, second by Mrs. Sullivan. Any comments or questions? Again, I know there's a lot of work gone into this, as you always do, in pulling things together from what our strategy is, plus what's going on and the changes you make. We appreciate it so much. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, no. Motion passes. Consideration of possible approval of Fremont Elementary, Garfield Elementary, Hancock Elementary, Pomeroy Elementary, Ritchie Elementary, Sparks Elementary, and Sullivan Middle Schools targeted improvement plans for the 2021-2022 school year.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Ms. Morgan, second by Mrs. Sullivan.
I just wanted to say, it's sad that we had to go through this, and that for these schools, that they had to go through it for another year because of COVID. But they're troopers, and we're doing exactly what we need to do, and I have no doubts that it will all come out good.
They're gearing up, for sure.
Huh?
They're gearing up, that's for sure.
Absolutely.
They're working very hard.
Well, the key is that with the loss of education and the social loss, to be able to do this and get up to speed and socially with these children and educationally, it's a monumental task. We appreciate it. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. Consideration of possible approval of application for
Presentation.
for
Spotlight on pre-K.
I'm going to skip the page here.
113.
It's at the bottom.
Right here, special presentation.
Where?
It's
I didn't say that. There's one down
Here.
here.
I
Okay.
don't know why. There you go. That's it.
Okay, I'm sorry. We have spotlight on pre-K kindergarten president Rebecca Terry.
I'm here.
I'll get you there in a minute.
It's been a year since I've seen you. And we brought a little color into this. So I just wanted to be here to give you an update on where we are with pre-K. We're working hard in pre-K this year.
Look how cute.
Saw a lot of my teachers at the beginning of the year, and they're like, oh, my Rebecca.
Oh, good.
It's going to be a hard year, and I've seen a lot of teachers this week and the week before Thanksgiving, and they're like, we're turning the corner. Kids are settling in, kids are working hard, and these are pictures from some of our schools, and as you can see, our children are now back in workstations, they're working independently, teachers are teaching in small group, so we've come a long way from where we were with COVID last year. We still have a long ways to go, but we've come a long way. So looking back at some of our long-term goals and letting you know where we are, one of our long-term goals was full-day pre-K for 4-year-olds. We have achieved that goal. Yay! Enrolling at home campus, we are very close to achieving that goal. We enrolled over 90% of our kids at their home campus this year. It wasn't until, I believe, the week before Labor Day that we kind of had to start sending a few kids to other campuses because we were busting at the seams at some of our schools. We added about 7 or 8 teachers to pre-K after Labor Day at some of our schools, and our kids are thriving, and so are our teachers. Our enrollment this year, our other long-term goal is to reflect at least 80% of our kindergarten enrollment. So we'll go through some of these things a little bit more in depth. Going back to the breakdown of our classes over the last 3 years, as you remember, 2 years ago when I came and spoke to you, we still had half-day classes. Half-day classes are now gone. Last year we had all full-day classes, and this year, as you can see, we went from 116 classes to 127 full-day classes this year, which we are thrilled about. Not so good. Our enrollment has gone down, but it is going back up, and we will begin marketing pretty soon after the break to work on early enrollment end of April, beginning of May. So in 2019-2020, we had worked really hard to get up to that 2,400 kids, where we were at 73% of our kindergarten enrollment. And then, of course, with COVID last year, it kind of plummeted. A lot of our kids stayed home. Our kinder teachers are really appreciating our pre-K teachers more than ever this year, because about a third of their kids did not go to pre-K, and they're struggling with that. But this year, we are coming back. We enrolled 180 more kids this year, and we're back to 68% of our kindergarten enrollment. I want you to know that pre-K does make a difference. As my teachers came in and they were talking about, oh wow, we've got a lot to teach this year. Their first 9 weeks data came in, and I'm like, yo, it's not that bad. You've been teaching a lot the first 9 weeks. And so I just wanted to compare last year to this year. I know these are hard to see, but our data looks really good this year. Next week, our pre-K teachers will turn in another round of data, and I can't wait to see where we are at the end of the second 9 weeks. So both with concepts of print, we are right on track of where we have been in the past, and also I pulled counts objects, and I know everybody's like, really? Yes, that's a big one in pre-K. We are really on track with that as well. So we wanted you to know that Team Pre-K loves the board, and we love your support, and let's just hope this works. That's from one of our pre-K classes. So, any questions?
What kind of data are y'all pulling? How are y'all?
We have quite a bit of data. At the beginning of the year and the end of the year, our teachers give the circle assessment, so we have data from that, and I've pulled that, and it's pretty much in line of where we've been in the past. And each 9 weeks, our teachers have formative data that they put into Aware Eduphoria, and we look at that every year, and we work with principals and coaches on how to take that data to plan for instruction. And so we actually have 5 data points throughout the year.
And it's just kind of been like this because we haven't had a solid school year, I guess, for
You know, even though we haven't had a solid school year, our data has not been that bad. I mean, our teachers are working extremely hard in pre-K.
Well, they're working hard all over the district.
Yes, they are. Yes, they are. Any other questions?
Great report, and we appreciate all you do.
Thank you, and we do appreciate all of your support. Thank you.
Thank you.
We're glad to do it. Thank you, Ms. Terry. On with the agenda, consideration of possible approval of application for a TEA low attendance waiver for J. Frank Dobie High School in Beverly Hills Intermediate.
So move.
Second.
Motion made in second. Any comments or questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. Consideration of possible approval of the application for a TEA missed school day waiver for Fred Roberts Middle School.
So move.
Second.
Motion by Ms. Morgan, second by Mrs. Sullivan. Any comments or questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. Consideration of possible approval of School Health Advisory Council, SHAC, membership for 2021-2022 school year.
So move.
Second.
Motion by Ms. Morgan, second by Mrs. Sullivan. Comments or questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
No. Motion passes. Consideration of possible approval of 2021-2022 budget for the Region 4 Regional Day School Program for the deaf in the amount of $1,372,866.
So move.
Second.
Motion by Ms. Morgan, second by Mrs. Sullivan. Comments or questions?
Dr. Powell, I've heard so many comments from parents. They're so pleased that we brought this program into our Pasadena schools. It gives the kids ownership, and they're a part of it, and our deaf team is doing a wonderful job.
Well, I just thank Debbie Barrett and her team for making sure this was done and done well. I signed a student in from Deer Park, so they're using our services. I know everybody's trying to get in because we're doing such a good job, and appreciative of the teachers and, of course, all the special ed support that they get as well. I don't know if Alita Harrell remembers this, but when I first got the gig, she was talking to me about a parent whose child was deaf, and she really, really wanted her child to go to Pasadena ISD, and I said, let's see if we can make that happen, and thanks to this board, that happened. So if you still know that lady, you go back and tell her and take some credit for that, because we had a long conversation about that. But they're no longer bused far away. They're right here being successful in Pasadena ISD.
That is great, great, great.
Absolutely.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. If you vote against this, we'll just shoot you, okay? Consideration of possible approval of 2021-2026 LSP Practicum Internship Affiliation Agreement with the University of Houston Clear Lake.
So move.
Second.
Motion by Ms. Morgan, second by Mrs. Sullivan. Any comments or questions about this? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. Consideration of possible approval of 2021-2022 Harris County Department of Education case for Kids Partnership Grant Award for Fraser Elementary and the corresponding interlocal agreement.
So move.
Second.
Ms. Morgan, second by Mrs. Sullivan. Comments or questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. Consideration of possible approval of the Texas COVID Learning Acceleration Support Grant Award in the amount of $3,067,640.
So move.
Second.
Motion made by Ms. Morgan, second by Mrs. Sullivan. Any comments or questions?
And this is only part, Olivia, correct, of the T-class money that be proud to share with you at a later time, but this is only part of it.
Your department is awesome.
Yes.
Thank you, Olivia. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. Consideration of possible approval of MOU between the University of Houston and Pasadena ISD for paid residency teaching program according to TCLS grant.
So moved.
Get out in a minute.
Second.
Motion by Ms. Morgan, second by Mrs. Sullivan. Any comments or questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. Consideration and possible approval of Sam Rayburn High School choir, dance, and orchestra programs to travel to Orlando, Florida to participate in professional performance clinics from Thursday, April 27th, 2023 to Monday, May 1st, 2023.
So moved.
Motion made by Sullivan, second by Mr. Fernandez.
Got it.
Any comments or discussion?
I just had one question. Why are we approving it so far in advance?
They're early birds, and they're making
That's a
sure
good thing.
parents have a lot of advance notice, students have a lot of advance notice, because sometimes when we don't give that much notice, they don't have proper planning for the financial part that is involved. So,
Well, great.
good job, early birds.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Get ahead of the game, right, Chad? Any other comments or questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. Student achievements.
Got lots of them.
There are a lot of them in here, and I wanted to bring attention to something. I think we sometimes skip over this. We've seen awards today, but in your school student achievement award back in here, you're going to find that we have College Board National Recognition Programs for Dr. Kirk Lewis, J. Frank Domi, African American Recognition, Hispanic Recognition, and these are super programs. High school, Pasadena High School, Pasadena Memorial High School, Sam Rayburn, all of our schools, for students that are performing academically. We also have in here about our culinary students for Pasadena High School and CTE, no, not Pasadena. Pasadena Memorial and Sam Rayburn. Any of y'all go to the Taste of the Town, these guys won it all.
Yes.
Winner of the 21 People's Choice Award. My son wasn't very happy about that, but that's okay. But anyway, they did a wonderful job, and they were all there and had a great time, and they did a beautiful job, so we're proud of that. Then we have, the next one is choir members across the district that have won certain things. And then we have the welding on page 136. We had 254 students competing, only 55 earned certifications. We came out with 21 of 25, 55. That's unbelievable.
Yes, it is.
Y'all may remember 3 years ago, we had a junior from CTS, went to the national welding contest against professionals and won first place.
That was 2 years in a row.
So how about that? Anyway, we also have one in here for our chess guys. I don't know anything about chess, but they apparently did very well.
Karen loves chess.
So we're going with agenda, consideration of possible approval of budget amendments.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Mrs. Morgan, second by Mrs. Sullivan. Anybody else got any questions?
I have a comment about what you just went through, Mr. Kendrick. We kind of pass over those things and lump it in with student achievement, and I really do appreciate that you actually singled those out. So that's really neat. Starting from the beginning to the end, I'm glad you pointed that out.
Thank you. A lot of good things going on. Our kids are achieving a lot. They ought to be recognized.
Well, just as an example, at Memorial, the culinary kids furnished the food every meal, and it was superior. They enjoyed doing it, and our guests certainly enjoyed the meal that was provided. So our kids are doing a lot of things that's very important to them.
It is, and they do it community-wise, and it's just amazing. Taste of the Town's a big event in Pasadena, and these kids were everywhere serving food, and they won all these awards, which is outstanding. But anyway, we approved the choir. Budget amendments we've talked about. Anybody got any questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. Consideration of possible adoption of budget board resolution declaring an emergency and authorizing employee compensation and purchase in response to the fire at Roberts Middle School on November 11th, 2021.
So moved.
Second.
Who was that? You? Motion by Mr. Morgan, second by Mr. Phelan. Any comments or questions? I know Dean Bach, Superintendent, was extremely pleased with how fast the response were and how fast they got that thing under control, and good leadership.
And great staff, too,
Yes,
because they
absolutely.
may have not been able to be in their building, but I guarantee you they were working. This covers us.
Great job by the staff and everybody else. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion passes. Carries. Operations section, consideration and possible approval of multiple Spark School Park programs for South Shaver and Jensen Elementary Schools and the corresponding agreement for a cost of $10,000.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Ms. Morgan, second by Mr. Fernandez. Comments or questions? If you're not aware of this program, many of our schools have these Spark programs. It's very expensive. It's generated by gifts from people in Houston in the program, and they're phenomenal for our kids and for the neighborhood, really.
And there's always work that volunteers can do.
Put them together, that's right. Very outstanding. Any comments or questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. Consideration and possible approval design development phase for the Guidance Center conversion to nutrition service project. Danny? IBI, Danny Brewster.
I thought you just wanted to see who the Adobe 9 principal was.
They designed the building.
I know they did. Amy's a long one.
You're going to inherit a nice building over there.
Something to work with, right?
All right, Dr. Powell, Board, thanks for having me. I'm Danny Brewster. I work for IBI Group Architects. And I brought with me tonight, this is Erica Hernandez, one of the young architects from IBI Group. Lives in Pasadena, votes in Pasadena, went to Pasadena High School, Queens Intermediate, and South Houston Elementary.
Oh, yes. I thought you were going to say high school. I'm like,
And so I'm going to stand up here and take most of the credit, but everybody knows who did most of the work on this project. And so we're going to run through this. Slow me down if I get going too fast. I know sometimes these things are hard to see on the board, but the scope of the project is to take the existing guidance center and we're going to convert that into the nutrition services building where they can do their training and their testing and have their headquarters there in a nicely renovated building. And we'll just jump right into it. For those of you that don't know where it's at, it's right over, kind of behind what used to be Parkview Movie Theater back in my day, and near the stadium and auxiliary. The project is generally an interior build-out project. You're not going to see a lot of changes on the exterior of the building. There will be some recoding and kind of traffic control going on the outside, and a little bit of ADA work just to make sure that the project remains accessible moving forward. And so for those of you that know the building, this is kind of an axonometric view of the existing facility, showing how we're going to add some security on the site, a gate, and again, the striping for the new accessible parking spaces.
Is there enough parking there for all the staff?
We're going to have a conversation with the city of Pasadena about that very issue. You have a school very, very close to this site that, unless it's a PTO meeting, there's available parking, and we are going to do our best to make them understand that the days when there's a lot of training going on, we're going to share facilities because we're the same owner of both those facilities. And we'll let you know how that argument goes.
But on a daily basis.
This building actually started out as the old administration building when I was on the board, and then Challenger, and then Guidance Center, and now Health and Nutrition, or whatever. Is that the name of it?
Nutrition Services.
Nutrition Services. Awesome.
Goes back a long way.
Yeah.
Well, and that's a beautiful thing. We always talk nowadays about LEED and doing sustainable architecture and things like that. There's no more sustainable architecture than not tearing down an old building and using it for something else. That is as efficient a use of our resources as there is.
Amen.
So just to jump in, as I said, it's primarily an interior build-out, and you can see here the lower right would be the test and training kitchen for the nutrition folks. And then everything else is supporting that with offices for the staff, with conference areas, classroom areas. It's going to be state-of-the-art so that the folks using this test kitchen will be ready to step into a kitchen at any of our facilities.
They will also be serving the schools. They will be training and serving the food at times when they need to cater. They will be catering, so we will be able to access from the backside.
Right, you can see here that we've got this door, and that's what part of the access to the parking lot was about. Thank you for reminding me of that. And then we have, oops, come on. Oh, yeah. There it is. And so on the second floor, it's more offices for the folks that run that department, and 2 really large training rooms. And as you can see, it's divisible so that you can open it up into one really, really large training room. This is the kind of flexibility and collaboration space that really can change the use of a building and provide so many uses, and so many things can happen in this facility. You also see in the upper right-hand corner, those 3 areas that aren't colored, those are undedicated spaces as far as this. We were able to work the program into the existing spaces and have a little bit of surplus space, either for growth or for other activities that the district sees fit to put those in. Any questions on the floor plans? And so the rest of the pictures there, these will be easier to see in your in your books, but everybody likes the axos, that it just kind of shows how the furniture fits and how the equipment fits in the kitchen. That's the first floor, and stacking it up onto the second, you see the really large training room, really efficient use of the space. The ratio of corridors to usable spaces is really good on this facility. They really did a nice job. And again, the DD set really sets the scope of the project. We get approval from the end users and from the facilities department. We all agree what happens in every space, and so that's what these images are about. We walk everybody through the building. They tell us what they need. We show that we heard them, and we put it in. And that will lead to us jumping in, with your approval, to the construction documents. This is the kitchen. This is where all the magic happens for the department, and it's a really nice kitchen. It's as big as a school kitchen.
Awesome.
That's what it looks like when you take the roof off and look in. That's our program and our construction cost based on the square footage within the program. And do you have any questions on that?
Timeline.
Timeline, we're going to go to, do we have a schedule?
Yes, we have a schedule.
There's your timeline. It should be in your set.
I left my book at home.
Oh, okay. Well,
but I've looked at it, I just haven't.
We're going to, as I said, with your approval, we're going to jump into CDs. That'll take about 3 months for us to get this to a biddable state. We'll turn it in for permitting before we're done, because we know we got to get at least a month head start on that, a month to bid, and then this summer we'll get started with the contractor, and you'll see some work happening.
So it'll coincide with the administration building, so as we're all moving out, it'd be in that same timeline.
That's awesome.
They would be moving as well.
Great.
Looks good.
Any other questions for Danny and then?
Thank you for the work that you've done.
I think there was a question.
With there being so many shortages, do you foresee any delay in any of the interior equipment, stoves, refrigerators that are going to be needed in this facility?
I've got to tell you, I can't rule that out at this point. We're seeing delays in very surprising things. Things that you wouldn't think would be delayed are showing up as long lead items for us in all of our construction projects right now. It's a hard thing to predict, but this is it's a good scope for a project. It's not a giant project as long as we get a contractor that jumps in. And really, it's the kitchen equipment is the main thing we're going to keep an eye on. And we can show this set to the 3 or 4 subcontractors that do most of your kitchens and give them a head start on it. And we will do that.
Great. Thank you very much. It looks like it's going to be such a workable area.
No, it's going to be very nice.
Great job.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Thank you, Danny. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Do I hear a motion?
I move that we approve the, where are we?
64.
Under 2.
Design development phase for the Guidance Center conversion to nutrition services project.
Second.
Second is Ms. Fusilier. Any comments or questions? We had the main people here to ask, so I think they satisfied them.
Yes.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. Thank you all. Consideration of possible approval allowance expenditure authorizations, AEA number 47, for the Red Bluff Elementary School replacement project in the credit of $4,300.
So moved. Second.
Motion by Mrs. Morgan, second by Ms. Sullivan. Any comments or questions? Credits are always good.
Absolutely.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion passes. Consideration of possible approval allowance expenditure authorization, AEA number 001 for administration building replacement project in the credit amount of $177,694.
So moved.
Second.
Was that you?
It was. I'm getting better.
Speak up over there.
Great job.
Second by Mr. Phelan. It's kind of hard not to turn this one down, isn't it? Credit of
Absolutely.
$180,000, not hard to say. Any other comments or questions? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries. Any comments on the construction update? Apparently not. Miscellaneous section. Consideration of possible approval of mediation agreement in GC versus PISD, Texas Education Agency, docket number 012-DM-1021, and related actions.
Mr. President, I move to approve the mediation agreement in GC versus Pasadena ISD, Texas Education Agency docket number 012-DM-1021, and related actions.
Second.
Motion made by Mrs. Morgan, second by Mrs. Sullivan. Any comments or questions? All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, no. Motion carries. Consideration and possible adoption of board resolution casting ballot for Martina Lemon Dixon to be elected as the school district representative on the Harris County Appraisal District Board of Directors.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Morgan, second by Mr. Fernandez. Any comments or questions? Carla's still here. Thank you for that additional information. We appreciate that. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries. We have no more public comments before or after, so we set the next meeting at January 25th.
Move that the next meeting be January 25th, 2022.
That's
Second.
right. Motion. You?
Me.
Ms. Paola?
Nelda.
Nelda, I'm sorry. Okay. January 25th, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Thank you. This meeting is now adjourned.
8:08.
8:08.